Noswaithal. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining my regular 6:30 Tuesday Facebook Live. I've had some fantastic guests over the next few weeks, but I think today is one of the guests, Mims Davies, that I've been looking forward to the most. You can hear it's live. The bells are going. The bells are going.
I only know it's Tuesday because it's 6:30 in your Facebook Live. So
exactly. So what I wanted to say, one of the things that I think surprised me most about becoming your member of parliament is that the amount of people that have reached out to actually help and give me the support. And Mims was one of the first to contact me, and she's really been an absolute rock to me. It was Mims that suggested I do my annual report that you all receive. So thank you, Jockenbell, Mims, for that. I just wanted to give a quick update on everything that I've been doing over the last few days before I let Mims introduce herself. So last week I was at Tara Valley, and we cut the ribbon of a £175 million investment from UK government, Mims. And wow. I've got my Ascent mug. Thank you to all of those that have been sending in mugs for my Panad with Virginia. And then on Friday, I also went to Llangefni to see some businesses. I dropped in on Summer Moon, which is Lizzie Holbrook, who's setting up a wellness centre there. And then I took Bochard around the island. They're an engineering company. Took them over to the old the Stena Eco Park, and Sam Rowlands, who's our Conservative MS, joined me as well, and determined to bring new investment to Unismore. Now we've got Freeport status. Then the Island Games, I went to see the Unismore Gymnastics Club in Holyhead and met up with the team there. Catherine Rowley, the head coach. They train 460 youngsters each month go and practice their gymnastics there. It's absolutely fantastic, and wish them proper luck for the Island Games. And I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out to my AMLOC. I've got an AMLOC street clean. I had a lady, Margaret, kindly emailed in and would like our help and support, really sort of sprucing up the town. So if you'd like to get involved, that's on Saturday the 15th of July in the morning. Please do drop me a line. But most importantly, I'd like to introduce my fantastic guest, Mims Davies. Now, you have got quite close links to Wales, haven't you?
I have. Do you know, I thought I was a busy constituency MP till I heard what you've been up to. And I'm like, this woman does not stop. You're a pocket rocket. So yeah, I lived in Swansea in South Wales for not far off 10 years. Literally my spiritual home. I never thought I'd leave, and still got lots of family there. My kids are half Welsh, huge connections. I can't wait to get back up to Swansea, and I'm meant to be going to Thames, and anybody who may be accidentally listening from the south, I promise you I'm on my way, because I'm a minister as well at DWP, the Department of Work and Pensions. I previously was Parliamentary Under Secretary for Wales and Minister for Sport, and other roles here in Parliament. But I'm the Member of Parliament for Mid Sussex. I'm a busy single mum with growing girls, juggling things just like many people listening.
Oh, excellent. So, Mims, how did you actually get into politics? How did you go from Swansea to actually becoming a very, very well-respected minister here in Westminster?
Well, I did actually work at the BBC, and I did work in media for a long time. And when people found that I was into politics, they had the shock of their lives, Virginia. Actually still got a lot of friends in the media. And through university, I was at the University of Swansea. It was actually the University of Wales, Abertawe, at the time that I was there, but it's sort of changed a little bit. And I did politics and international relations, but I didn't do any politics really for a long time. So I started at college, and I went in and I moaned about a local play park.
Okay.
And I got co-opted onto a parish council, which can happen to you. And quite often, you know, women get hacked up about local things. You were just talking about the street cleaning in AMLOC, and that's fantastic, because that's the bit that bothers us. We're not here for all the big ideology. We want to get stuff done and get stuck into things, and that's how I accidentally fell into that. And so I think people now in the media industry, and people that I worked with, you know, when I came out as a politician, still talk to me, and they know what's driven me and what's at the heart of it, I think.
Oh, excellent. So what would you say to any sort of young women, or you know, anybody watching, if they wanted to sort of get involved like yourself? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, definitely. It's no picnic, and if you want an easy life, look elsewhere. And I'm not totally up on the latest TV or Netflix or anything like that, because I'm well behind. I'm still watching 24. But you know, I think particularly if you're on a parish council, or you're a town or a district councillor like I've been, if you know, head to the Senedd, it's amazing how close you can get to community, and you can really make the difference. And I never expected to, you know, you and I, you know, we've made it to Westminster, somebody let us in, but you know, you've got to start on that journey. And actually I was mentored and supported by other people who saw something in me that I certainly didn't. I was, you know, busy looking after family, caring responsibilities, and sandwich caring as well, but I wouldn't change it, because I remember being on meetings about the leisure contract, and you know, things that matter in the community, what your local swim centre looks like. And I remember thinking, I'm pretty much the only person here who's been in those changing rooms, taking the kids for a swim. And actually it's really important that we have the people that are using the facilities that are really embedded into the community, having voices and shaping those services for taxpayers. So that's what sort of brought me in, to get things fixed, to get a voice in it, make sure that the community that the services are there for actually reflect the community that want and need those right services.
Brilliant. So we need to say Noswaithal, good evening to a few people. Bruce, thank you, Bruce.
Hello, Bruce.
Nice to see you. And we've got Mon training, and I think good evening, Virginia. And I think we'll be talking about you know, great work that Mon Training do on the island, when we talk about the bit more about Tony Potter and the DWP team on the island. We've got three job centres on the island. We've got up in Amloch, which I often came up and helped open.
The little one,
yeah,
the porta cabin.
Exactly. They're still trying to find a venue for that. We're hopeful. And we've got in Holyhead as well, and then we've got in Llangefni too. And we've got Phil Roper. Hi Phil, great to have you join us. So we've had a few first questions have been coming through, and one of them was in terms of the job centre and the job centre plus, in terms of the role that they do, helping companies recruit. So how does this actually work, Mims? Can they sort of do sort of days where you know, people can interview, and they interview, they provide a place? How does it actually physically work?
Well, lovely to know people are watching and getting involved, and thank you for your feedback already. Our DWP teams are absolutely phenomenal. Virginia, you know that. You've got involved with Tony and the team, who are really embedded, and this is the most amazing bit about being part of a fantastic department, where you again, and it's part of that link to the community, you know what's going on, you know who's hiring, you maybe know what skills and challenges people have about getting into work, whether it is, for example, being able to get to work, you know, are the buses running when the shifts are on, those kind of things. So Tony and the team, and all across the country, and this is one of the most wonderful things about being involved in my department, you pull a lever and the policy and the operations falls out the bottom, and actually our work coaches and our teams are not backwards at coming forward about what they need to deliver. So yes, we do job fairs, we have our recruitment days in the job centre, we try and chuck out the CV and just get people to meet face to face, do that, you know, soft introduction. And very often, if you know, with the DWP, or you've been with us for a long time, or you know, you've fallen on times that you didn't expect because of the pandemic, because of COVID, actually a lot of people think that the experience of, you know, DWP it's so different to what it is now. It's about confidence building. If I had a penny for the word confidence in terms of being involved in this department, I'd be doing all right. But really it's about boosting skills, about networks, about making sure that the local colleges and everybody's linked to the needs of the local labour market and vice versa. And Tony and our teams, whether it's disability employment, access to work schemes, everything that goes on in our job centres linking to local partners, and that's something I've really driven. There's no point delivering some kind of service that doesn't work for the community. It's got to be a two-way street, and that's what people can expect when they work with DWP, either being recruited or hopefully getting into work, or most importantly as well, we know a lot of people working really hard, not always able to make ends meet. How can we help you progress and earn more and do better?
No, absolutely. And I think you mentioned partners, and speaking to Tony Potter and the team on the island, they work with the Anglesey Council, they work with Mentor More, they work with MSPART, they work with Monsieur, and I think it's really important that these all these support organisations work together. And one of the things that they have been doing, we had a jobs fair as a result of the devastating closure of the Two Sisters factory in Llangefni. That was 731 people that lost their jobs, and everybody across the island. It's been exceptional, the response. And out of 731, we've essentially had 180 people have made benefit claims. And so I'd like to give a big shout out, and I know I've mentioned Tony Potter in the chamber, to you, Mims, as well. But I mean, you mentioned the disability confidence. So companies watching, what sort of support can they expect? How can they, find out more? And because a lot of people across the island, they genuinely want to help.
Yeah.
How can we actually make that happen?
So a few bits there. So when I was Employment Minister during the height of the pandemic, we really melded together the needs of the local businesses, and particularly pivoting people into sectors and needs that they might not have already thought about. So those partnerships, those training providers, Mon Training, I think you mentioned, and others are really key to that. And I hope that they have a brilliant engagement with us at DWP and with those partners at the council. So all of that really matters, and being able to be responsive. I know you were hounding me around Westminster when that factory was under threat, and being innovative about how to support people or bus people to new roles, etc., and really processing those claims and supporting people as soon as possible. If you don't fall down that crevice, that your confidence doesn't get low, that you don't know how to pivot into a new sector, and particularly if it's a bit of a big shock, many people won't be expecting to need to look for work. So that's where we need to be our most responsive. And then, as you mentioned, people's health conditions, their well-being, things change in life. My dad was attacked at work when I was 11. He had a head injury, and we ended up on benefits and really struggling and finding life really hard. And actually it's those times when you need the state, you need the community to come and help you, and actually to know how you can stay in work, because work is so much more than just a pay packet. It is that confidence, that sense of purpose, that network that you get, and actually when life's thrown you some tough stuff, actually your network at employment really makes a difference. In fact, it's lonely this week, and actually your workmates can really help you and see when things are difficult, as equally as family and as friends can. So in terms of disability confident, you can sign up online, you can find all the details, and then linked to that you've got access to work. And this is quite an amazing scheme. It's a demand-led discretionary grant that supports the recruitment and, importantly, the retention of someone with a health condition or a disability, so that they can get into or stay in sustainable paid employment. And in fact, there's quite substantial grants, up to £66,000. Really? Yes, wow. So you can be supported. Okay. Whether that's the uniform, the desk, getting you to work, an additional support when you're in work, the technology that you need, and it's all out there. So if you haven't heard of this and you haven't used this in your business, or indeed you're someone who's actually needs to put something to the parapet, then actually the back's not how it was, or actually your well-being isn't how it was previously, you can get additional support. So please come forward, and it's .gov.uk access to work. You search that, whether you're an employer or whether you're an employee, that can really help you. And also have a look at the HSE website. That's got a huge amount of areas of support for you. Also with your mental health and your well-being, that's incredibly linked to how you're feeling at work. And I've also appointed the UK-wide a menopause champion for work for 50 plus. So we know there's a big focus on the over 50s, retaining them in the labour market, helping supporting them as equally, and as the Minister of the Youth and Social Mobility at DWP, that's really important. So the economic inactivity in Wales is going in the right direction. We're reducing that. There's work to do on unemployment, and there is really good news on payroll employment UK-wide, and a record number of people in work, over 33 million people. So we're going in the right direction, but we need to make sure that Ynys Môn and that Wales as a whole is thriving as much as any other part of the UK labour market.
And you mentioned over 50s jobs fairs, and we've got one. I mean, you and your team have really encouraged me to hold one on the island, and it's going to be.
That's not just because I'm 48 and I love Wales.
You youngster. It's going to be Thursday, the 29th of June, and it's 10 till 12. It's free, and it's going to be in the Holyhead Town Hall. And to date, we've got obviously the DW team. We've got Monsief, we've got CareLink, we've got Maximus. We've got Mentamorn, we've got a disability service support, Anna Thai, we've got Compass Group, we've got Careers Wales, we've got Tubman Moore, a fantastic charity, and we've also got Medic One, absolutely brilliant organisation. So what can people expect when they come to an over 50s jobs fair, Mims?
Yeah, well, I've done one myself, actually. And who would have thought we'd come and be MPs, and on top of, starring on telly, we're still on job fairs. But actually, you described it in the early part of what you've done, just this week, the connection to businesses, to needs, to skills requirements, to links to education and the council and all your partners is really, really key. So it's a fantastic brokerage. And actually what we've had during COVID, because we've got to know our businesses even more in really difficult times, and those business leaders or those new startups, we need to connect those people who may be just down the road from Holyhead, who actually need that fresh start or first start, or actually see the opportunities around them, but they just don't quite know how to get there. So it's a soft landing in a comfortable space, supported by some of those training providers. Maximus are really good. We know that Tony and the team at DWP will be able to help broker those first conversations, and also seeing something in you post 50, where confidence may have dipped. You may be going through divorce. You may have realised that actually your pension and your latter part of life isn't really what you were hoping for, and you need to plan for that, because we could be spending up to a third of our lives, in pensionable age. So we need, it's not. We're all a bit better off in COVID because we can go out anywhere, and then we realise after that happens, we want to go out and we want to have that money in our pocket. So we want to have the retirement want, and particularly for women, it can be. You're doing it. I hope you're having the most fulfilling part of your career, where you can make choices about what you want to spend your days doing. You can give back, you can support, you can be bold with your choices, because you're not maybe managing the family or mortgage or rent that maybe you had before. So yeah, it's a really exciting time. And what I've done with my own job fair in the Mid Sussex area is also linking it with charities and volunteering and wellbeing, and that tends to work really well, because if someone's looking for a job but they can bring someone along who might be looking for something else, you can buddy up, you can go out together. So it sounds like you've got a really good lineup.
And I think there are organisations like U3A, University of Third Age, and like CAB have met some fantastic volunteers at the CAB in Holyhead. So we've got a few more. Good evening, Sue Williams. She is good evening, Virginia, from the Scottish Highlands.
Oh, but it's lovely there.
Brilliant, Sue. Absolutely. Sue, I posted a magnet for you yesterday,
hello,
so
Sue.
hopefully you'll get that. Victoria Waller, hi Virginia, just joined. Gorgeous, sunny and hot on Anglesey. Haven't we been lucky? Absolutely, Victoria. It's been very hot here.
It's sweltering in these boxes here, but we can hear Big Ben trying to say it's lovely.
Frederica, hello, sorry, late coming. Lovely to have you join us, Frederica. Thank you so much. Jason says, evening, Virginia. It was nice to see Bethan in the office earlier. Didn't she do well in the recent by-election? I'm sure it won't be the
Well
last we'll
done,
see of Bethan.
Bethan.
Well done, Bethan.
And sticking your head above the parapet.
Yeah,
That's not easy. Well done.
Absolutely fantastic news for Holiday Ahead. She's got so many ideas and enthusiasm. And congratulations to Samantha, Sue, who was elected, and really everybody that stands, particularly women. I mean, it's great to have people putting their heads above the parapet and actually getting
tough,
involved,
isn't it? Everybody's got something to say what they don't like.
Yeah.
But this sounds so positive.
Yeah.
Feedback.
Great feedback.
There's a Chinook going over as we speak.
And then Victoria Wallace says, let's hope they don't leave the Two Sisters site to fall apart as it is and regenerate into something that Llangefni can use for many years to come. Absolutely, Victoria. Ian Kenneth Burnley says, sometimes the little things can make the biggest difference. The root of the community is what works. Yeah, here, Ian. Am I right that we do take the effort to support that? We need the community to pull together as was done in the past. And we've really seen that with Two Sisters, and we should, the whole island really did pull together. Trevor, Carol Hughes Morris says, we're so far behind in providing EV charging points on Anglesey and all across Wales, actually. Why are we not creating the skills to create jobs to fill this gap, which is here and now?
Do you know, actually, if finish your chat.
And Bruce says you're getting gold stars here, Mims. Informative Facebook Live. And Trish says, good evening, I'm late again. Kemlyn Nature Reserve will be on Spring Watch this evening from 8 until 9. Lovely place to visit. Thank you so much, Trish. That's great.
Oh, lovely. Well, if we get any good, we'll be on this morning. Because we're in a very insecure role. So we need to, all the skills we can get. So I met a chap called Michael in Wolverhampton a little while ago. And one of the things that happens if you become unemployed and things are difficult for you, actually your world gets smaller and your confidence gets smaller. Mm-hmm. And very often, we were talking about the confidence to do something 50 plus, and Michael was 50 plus, and I met him at one of the local colleges, which is putting on skills to transfer into green sectors, into low carbon sectors, and to be part of that. And Michael just completely came alive about how he talked about he just wanted to go a mile from home, do some kind of course that might see him into the future. And now he is fixing and trained as a mechanic for battery cars and the future that we're all living in, and we need to remember, because we can sell them but we can't fix them. And he was beaming because he is going to have the most lucrative part of his career, 50 plus. He's in a sector that's growing with skills which is massively needed. So we need some more Michaels putting together the EV charging points around on this morning, I think.
Well, we have Pentraeth Autos. They're actually upskilling and training some young people to service electric cars, and we've also got colleague Menai in Llangefni as well.
Michael.
Yeah, be like Michael.
It's a whole campaign. Be like Michael. You don't have to be a young person to do it, but it's great if we get and actually the research shows the longer it takes you to get into work, the less chance you have, obviously, on lots of things. But one of the things that really, the longer that you're unemployed for, or things aren't going your way, actually can end up with health and well-being issues and other issues. So the sooner we get people into work in jobs like that, or indeed 50 plus pivoted into the next stage, really makes a difference to the wider health and well-being, and particularly as we see the anxiety and the impact of the pandemic.
Thank you. And make it your business on this one. Says, so many people pleased to have something for older workers. Here.
Yes.
Claire Metcalf. Hi, Claire. Could the Two Sisters site be made into an IT learning site? So coding, developers, software engineers. These jobs can often be done remotely. You don't need to be in an office anymore. Many UK or global corporates offer working from home and or hybrid working contracts these days. Excellent suggestion. Jason, he says, it's fantastic to be sitting in my little house in Llangefni, able to speak to a UK government minister. Wouldn't get this kind of access to VIPs anywhere else.
So VIP here, aren't we? That's lovely.
Our DWP team are brilliant. I was in there only today, actually, where they've been helping me with a universal credit claim. I think we forget they don't just help you find work. I work full-time, but they've been really helpful these last few weeks. Lots of companies starting to advertise their seasonal jobs, some full-time, all year round, well-paid jobs. I'm lucky to have found my role with the CAB now.
Wow.
But spent years working as a chef on the island. Absolutely crazy hours in the summer, and they're struggling for hours through the winter. Tourism is a great employer, but we need stable jobs. And I think, oh gosh, Jason, you've said so many
Jason,
wonderful things there.
That's amazing.
But I think the tourism hospitality,
and he typed it so quick as well.
Wow. Tourism, I mean, it is a key for the island. I mean, it is a fantastic place, as we all agree. But we do need to have those high skilled jobs, and the companies that I'm taking around the island, their average salaries are more than double the average salary on the island. And hopefully with Freeport status, we should have 3,500 new jobs in the interim, rising to 13,000 with £1 billion worth of investment. So I think, and my second campaign is new nuclear at Wilbur. I mean, Mims knows my nickname. My nickname here,
Atomic Kitten, here she is.
Atomic Kitten. So I hope I'm doing everything I can to try to bring new nuclear to.
So I think a couple of bits in that. I think that fresh feedback of DWP and the experience, hopefully it is exactly what it's like for, you know, anybody who needs that support, whether it's the progression piece, the 50 plus piece, the work we're doing around veterans and care leavers. And I'm so proud of that work. And that to hear that directly is amazing, and thank you. Because one of my big pushes in the last sort of 4 years of being involved is, you know, my former Secretary of State called it the Department of Wonderful People, and it is. JCPs are not just places where you go and see a work coach, but they're where you to talk about jobs, community and progression. So all of those things together. But I really wanted, and I think we've really achieved the perception change of what the experience is at DWP. And actually there's no stigma of going, actually I need some help right now. And you know, you're the people with that dug in local links. So that is amazing to hear, and I'm so pleased. And you know, the balance here is about job snobbing. We can't job snob. You've got to start somewhere. Absolutely. So this is where the ABCs come in. Any job, better job, career. And then exactly as you're talking about, Virginia, then you can, if you're attracting like you're doing in Anglesey and focused on, and it's more about, you know, Wilford Newarth, you're going to deliver those progressive opportunities for people like Michael and others. So that's a really positive story.
No,
we love
really, really brilliant. And then Frederica says, I worry about young people leaving school with no aspirations or positive outlook for the future. I'd like to see more apprenticeships returning. Now, our Secretary of State, Gillian Keegan, yesterday was for education, was talking about apprenticeships. And of course, she's a real advocate for that. She had an apprenticeship. Yeah, she is. She's visited the island a couple of times. Her cousin actually lives up in Amloch. And works for DWP, And
I didn't know that. I knew she had rallies, but not DWP.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all real fans of apprenticeships, and absolutely, Frederica, really agree with you there. Apprenticeships, degree apprenticeships, and really giving people that support.
So I've got a 17-year-old doing their last A level tomorrow, where you know lots and lots of discussion about what's next, and with the youth portfolio, big focus on the under 25s. There's kind of an area where people can drop down 18, 19. If you don't get where you're going right then, that can be a real problem. And then we tend to pick people up through our youth hubs. We've got about 140 of them, all locally led, all locally partnership, all separate, a separate landing space for young people beyond the work, beyond the JCPs, with work coaches based in there. I just went to see one in Southampton where they got virtual reality job interviews. It's so cool. 8 young people got into work that week, and it's exactly, and none of that just happens, you know, it's been a big build up to pick up what the barriers were, what was holding those young people back, but the options of apprenticeships and the fact that you can make that investment in yourself, the way you want to do it, and have someone mentor and support you. And university isn't for everyone, and you know, it's a great option, but you can do an apprenticeship at any age or any career stage. Have a look at the Job Help website. All the different options for you at any age or career stage is there. And if you're struggling financially, you need some extra help as well, there's the Help for Households website, and also the benefits calculator on .gov.uk. Make sure you've got everything coming in that you're entitled to, while perhaps you're looking at what next career-wise.
No, absolutely. You are a font of knowledge. And if you'd like to do a sort of an audit or pension audit, my team can certainly help with that. We've got a couple of other comments. Someone wants to know, I actually won this in a raffle. It was for the Chem Ice. We've got the Chem Ice Carnival in the summer, and they were fundraising at the Stag Inn, and we had a quiz, and I won that. in the raffle there's always a raffle for these fundraisers. And Brendan Holiday says we've got a teenage son sitting his GCSEs and he'll be going on to A levels public to him.
Yes.
And also happy anniversary. I know you've had a big anniversary recently. He can be a big asset to the island. Young people need good jobs in order to keep them from migrating to bigger cities for the opportunities. Absolutely. And
yeah, you shouldn't have to move. I mean, this is ultimately what levelling up's about. You shouldn't have to move to have those opportunities on your doorstep. And it's the work that you're doing, Virginia, with the inward investment, with making things work, with bringing the two governments together, which will make the difference for hopefully that youngster.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got Trevor saying tourism has high skilled jobs, employing craftspeople, managers, amazing chefs. And why is it tourism always puts down jobs in engineering? It should be. No, absolutely, Trevor. There are some fantastic skilled jobs. I think what Mims and I are saying is, offering people the options, and tourism can be very cyclical on the island, and it was the first sector to be hit by COVID and the last sector to recover. And I think it's really important that we celebrate the tourism that we have on the island.
I completely agree. And tourism and hospitality often isn't seasonal. You can earn very quickly. You need a huge amount of skills and you need a great amount of people skills as well, but it can be long hours and it can be difficult and it can be seen as a stepping stone career rather than the wide-ranging global career that it can be. So working in the hotel sector or other things like that can take you around the globe. So for me, I really agree with this. It's a funnel that can open up the world for you, but also it's okay to have a life of jobs. Because you're in one sector, don't feel restricted that you can't jump into another sector when family or opportunity allows. So it goes back to the job snobbing, not talking stuff down, really focusing on the skills and the wide ranges of abilities that sectors like hospitality can give you for that long-term career, that life of jobs. No job for life these days, sadly.
Exactly. And we're going overtime now, Min. So I just want to say thank you so much, Jock and Val, for joining us tonight. Next week we've got Mark Spencer, the farming minister. Wow. So tell all of your friends to come and join. We'll be talking about farming, not only on Honest Morn, but the whole of Wales and across the UK. It's a really good opportunity to speak about food security. In terms of the rest of my week, we've got the Welsh Affairs Select Committee tomorrow, and then I'm actually going to see the Chancellor tomorrow to talk about what is important to Honest Morn, new nuclear. I'm sure will be included. And then we've got Prime Minister's Questions, where I'll be talking about because it's been so hot, our solar panels have not been working across the UK. So even more of a reason to have. I've had 4 PMQs so far this week. And then we've got guide dogs. I'm going to visit the guide dogs here, and then there's a small charity meeting. And then I've got a meeting with More Lice and also with Haemophilia Scotland. And I've also got a surgery. I do phone surgeries every Wednesday. And then the rest of the week, I'm going to the US Embassy down in Vauxhall, and I'll be meeting the energy attaché there. And I'm also meeting with some of the Koreans to talk about new nuclear at Wilva. And so a very, very, very busy week. And lastly, I bought these for my dad for Father's Day, so don't tell him. But looking forward to
remarkable. Atomic Kitten.
Yeah, they are House of Commons socks, if you can't see.
They are brilliant. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
So
raced through, hasn't it?
You've been absolutely brilliant.
I'm coming back again. I loved it. And I've been totally inspired to do this myself. How lucky are you? It's great.
Thank you.
And Nostar, everybody. And see you soon.
All right. Take care. Thank you, Mims.